Well, Alaska Hirlig, last night on BBC Northern Ireland, the Spotlight programme was shown in relating to what has happened in relation to Quinn Industrial Holdings Limited and the campaign of intimidation, and in particular the absolutely appalling things that were done to Kevin Lunney. And I want to make a few points, if I may, in relation to these matters. Firstly, there's no point in scoring cheap political points, but clearly there has been an ongoing failure of policing in the border region. Signs should not be allowed to be of an intimidatory kind to be put up anywhere on this island, and should be removed instantly they go up. And the craven attitude of some people who don't understand that the rule of law must be upheld applies not just simply in the border region. It applied in Cherry Orchard, where Dublin City Council was actually advising building contractors to pay off gangland people who were extorting money from them. There is only one standard of law, and it should apply everywhere on this island. The second point that I want to make is this. The leader of Fianna Fáil, Micheál Martin, has advanced a view, and I think he's correct, that there must be a multi-agency approach to the border situation and to what's happening there and what's not happening there. Revenue, Army intelligence, Garda intelligence, the Gardaí, every force that's available, north and south, every security force that's available and technique that's available must be deployed. The third point is this: we can't have a situation that industry is driven out of that area at the hands of people who are conducting a campaign of that kind. How can that area possibly prosper? Who in their right mind would invest in it if this kind of behaviour goes unchallenged? And it's a challenge to the legitimacy of this state that things that were done to Kevin Lunney were done to him, and it's a real failure on the part of our state that this was building up incrementally and nothing was being done to take it seriously. Now, the other thing I just want to say is this. We owe a lot sometimes to BBC Northern Ireland. That programme was phenomenally gripping and horrifying. And I just want to say to those in Montrose, it sets a standard by which you will be judged. You know, there are things that haven't been covered. Or they've run a series recently on the Troubles, which should be compulsory watching in every school in Ireland. They've run a different programme called, I think, Pop Goes Northern Ireland, where you see footage and just pop music intertwined, just to show the banality of the evil that was perpetrated over so many years. And when I say there was a failure of policing, I'm not recriminating, because I just want to say one thing, that I saw Drew Harris in the footage the other night following his father's coffin as a young man. So I'm not in any sense throwing any personal barb at anybody, but on Garda Síochána, we depend on it. Kevin Lunney and his colleagues depend on it, and it cannot be that they can simply fail to act in response to a situation which has been going on for years: vandalism, intimidation, and the like. And the last thing I want to say is this. You know, Paul Quinn, his mother, said that every bone in his body was broken when he was beaten to death with baseball bats. His crime, apparently, was to give lip to a former paramilitary or a paramilitary in the neighbourhood. That was his crime. And there still is, in Crossmaglen, the sniper at work poster up on a telephone pole. Now, either we're serious about the rule of law on this island or we're not. And don't want to make points against the Minister for Justice, but I do want the government, and I'm not doing that, but I do want the government to realise that the wave of horror that will come out of that programme last night, and it's going to be rebroadcast again, I think, tonight, it calls for a response at least as strong as that which followed the death of Veronica Guerin.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Briefly, your reference to the task force, and I agree with you. I happened to chair some years ago a committee of the British Irish Parliamentary Assembly in which we recommended such a task force that would aid the police on both sides of the border. And I understood, and I don't know if you were part of the government at the time or not, I understood that our government, the British government, and the Northern Executive and being at the time agreed it, and that it was established. But I'm not sure what it's doing. But it's absolutely, and we brought it up at the recent British
I can't exactly recollect whether I was in office at the time.
We had a report on the matter.
I do want to add one thing, Cathaoirleach, which I meant to say, and that is that the two governments, or the two authorities, state authorities on this island, must make it clear that Quinn Industrial Holdings is never going back to its original ownership on foot of this campaign, never going back there, and this must stop.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Just very brief one. I agree entirely with what Senator McDonald